What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Night Perspective. Today, we are going to be talking about adults killing kids' dreams. Yep, we're going to be talking about it today. So, again, I'm going to put out the parental advisory. This segment is not for children or youth under the age of 16, as the language may be, or even the subject matter sometimes, may be inappropriate for children. That being said, let's get started. So, I was made aware that someone that I used to be in relationship with told my daughter when she was really young that she was too fat to be a ballerina. Now, I vaguely remember a time where my daughter used to want to dance. And I would put her in all kind of little dance stuff. And she would perform at the Black Rep. And she has been in a lot of plays and different stuff. And she would go out there. She was more bolder. But I noticed as she got older, she became more reserved into herself. And she started eating more and she got bigger and bigger, right? So it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the thing. There are ballerinas of all shapes and sizes. This adult had an impressionable child in their possession, and they told her she was too big too fat to be a ballerina. Now, of course, they didn't say it in those direct words, but they might as well have. So today we're going to talk about them dream killers. I had one of those in my life. When I was in 6th grade or 7th grade, whatever, I played volleyball with my best friend, who was Josette. She wanted to play volleyball, so I played volleyball with her. And then I wanted to play basketball because my grandmother played basketball and whatever, right? Trying to be like the family. Now, I'm clumsy, so sports really aren't my thing, but I still gave a good effort, right? And so it came down time for us to play basketball. My best friend got on the team. I didn't. Again, it was personal preference, and my best friend was better than I was. It was it's no hate against the person who got on the team. But the one and only female coach of that team had favorites. And even her own daughter wasn't the greatest when she started. She learned and got better. But anyone else who wasn't as good as, let's say, the best players on the team, she treated like they were beneath her. Do you know what that does to children? When we are children, we are supposed to imagine the world and all its possibilities. When an adult uses their authority to cut off or usurp a child's dream, not only is it irresponsible, but it's very neglectful. Because now that child has one less option in the world. And when you give a child less options, guess what? Their world becomes smaller. Children are supposed to think and believe they can do and become anything they want to. Because they can. You gotta work hard for it. So, what I say to children, and I work with children, what I say to children is you can be anything you want. You gotta work for it. It's not gonna come to you easily. So yes, to the little girl who wants to be a ballerina, but maybe a little pudgy, guess what? You can be a ballerina. There are big girl ballerinas. Ballerinas come in all shapes and sizes. To the little clumsy girl who wants to play sports, maybe just for the fun of it or whatever, just to learn. You can do that. And if you work hard at it, you can become great at it. You may not be the best, but you can always be your best. And so, as we go deeper into this discussion, really about how we as an adults have a responsibility to these children, as we dive deeper into that, I'm sitting here and I'm trying not to be super mad and go off. Because I really want to find this person and punch him in the face. Like, for real. Because what we don't understand as adults is our words have power. They have the power to either deter a dream or to help fulfill it. And every time we speak negative words to children, we are deterring that dream. And Langston Hughes said it best. What happens to a dream deferred? A lot of these kids with no respect and no sense of anything were told they will never do anything, they will never be anything. Why would you do that to a child? I don't care if they are having maladaptive behaviors. No behavior happens without something triggering a behavior. So it's really about talking to the child and finding out what is going on with them. And like really having those conversations and not doing the adultism thing. I'm the adult, I'm right, you're wrong. No. Adults can be wrong too. And they need to apologize when they intentionally or unintentionally harm or deter children. See, here's the problem in that. And we get it from the generation before us. Right? This is a form of dysfunction. It's dysfunction that has been going on in our communities for generations. Kids were seen and not heard. Kids were not valued. They were seen as something insignificant unless they were an adult. They were to go get what you needed them to get. In other words, little slaves. If we think about it, that's adding to the caste system. We don't realize how this stuff is ingrained in us. The level of hierarchy. Now, I'm not saying let your kids run all over you. That's not what I'm saying. There's a fine line between allowing your kids to run all over you and understanding that sometimes as an adult, you need to humble yourself and apologize when you injure or when you add to a child's trauma bag. Because let's talk about this trauma bag. From the time we are born to the time we die, we have this bag. And everything that happens to us goes into that bag. It shapes how we view the world. It shapes our possibilities. It shapes our perspective. And so, as adults, we have to be cognizant of the stuff we're putting in our children's bag. I realize I played a part in my child's dysfunction growing up, or her trauma bag. I played a part in that. Because I'll be honest, I'm not the parent that's super touchy-feely and all that. No, I'm sorry, I'm not that person. I love you, but that's just not who I am because of my trauma bag. I don't like people touching me, really. Like, if I'm honest, because of my trauma bag, I don't like people touching me. Touching me causes me to freeze up and draw up. And so when you have a child that's very touchy-feely and they need that type of validation, and you're unable to give it to them, because not only does it trigger you or it reminds you of your trauma, now that child is reading your behavior as, oh, my mom doesn't love me, or oh, my mom doesn't want to be around me, or my mom doesn't love me. When actually it's no, dear. I have been injured and I have been traumatized by people touching me without my permission. So now I don't like people just randomly touching me. I don't care who it is. Now, again, there goes levels of consent, and I think that nowadays the consent stuff, it goes a little too far, because asking a baby for consent before changing their diaper is dirty. Change it. Like, that's a little too far, and we can go into that conversation at a different time. But my trauma caused trauma to my child unintentionally, and I did not know a lot of this stuff until she got older. And in order for me to find these things out, I had to drop the filter. You know what I'm talking about. That filter we all have when it comes to other people, especially our children. I had to let her know that she could say whatever she wanted to me, however she needed to say it, because I realized that her trauma was way more important than that filter of quote-unquote respect. I needed to understand what was going on with her. And so, yes, there was a barrier that I dropped. Some would say it was to my detriment because I never put it back up. However, I've had some of the realest conversations with her since I did that. My daughter is now 20 years old. And as she's unpacking her own trauma baggage, I have to take responsibility for some of the trauma that I put into her baggage. as well as understanding my own trauma baggage that I'm just now starting to unpack. There is a lot of stuff that happened to me in my childhood that was not good, that traumatized me, that made me feel as if I didn't matter to other people. This is why I'm a strong proponent. This is why I work with children. Because I never want a child to feel as if they don't matter. And that's what it felt like growing up. I felt like I wasn't able to voice my opinions, which I had them, lots of them. I felt there was never really an explanation, always because I said so, and because I said so doesn't give me information. If you're telling me not to do something, telling me not to do that thing is good in all of itself. But helping me to understand why that is not good for me to do is way better than saying because I said so. Then why do you say so? It just takes it further and further down the rabbit hole. This is some of the stuff we gotta stop doing to the next generation. Yes, the next generation under us are very entitled. They feel like the world owes them something. Right? I get it. I see it. However, on a certain level, we do. We owed it to them to give them that apology when we were wrong. We owed it to them to help them see and help them dream as far as the skies are. We owed it to them not to add to their trauma bag. See, that's where things start getting tricky. When we add to people's trauma bag how we treat them, the words we say to them. I knew my daughter was very sensitive from about kindergarten. You know how people say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. She said, no, mommy, that's not true. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but what you say will hurt deep down inside me. My child was the type of, or is the type of person who what you say to her affects her. So telling her she was too fat to be a ballerina shouldn't have never happened. It shouldn't. You teach her how to do the moves instead. And especially while she wants to learn. Because when she wants to learn, she will do what it takes to achieve the goal. But once she's discouraged, when a child is discouraged, then they go into self-hating behaviors like cutting, like suicide attempts, like depression, like PTSD, all this mental stuff, anxiety, like all this stuff adds up. They're watching their world. We cannot continue to do that to children. We cannot. They're our most valuable resources. Because guess what? When we're old and feeble, they're going to be the ones deciding what to do with us. So when we decide that it's not important to foster that, do you want more criminals or do you want more successful people? Do you want more drug addicts or do you want more doctors and lawyers and teachers and people being productive in society? It really all depends on us. And we are doing a jacked up job. These babies, these kids, they need us. We are failing them. And I know a lot of it is because we haven't been taught how to deal with our own trauma bag. So I guess today's topic is really about being trauma informed. When you understand your own triggers, like I talked about earlier with my daughter, her seeing me not wanting her to touch me or hug me and stuff like that as a form of me not loving her, that is my trauma meeting her trauma, right? My trauma causing her trauma. And so now it's creating a ripple effect, right? But if I understood my issues, right, then I could have said, come here, baby. It's not that I don't love you. And I could have had conversations with her and talked to her and still validating her, giving her that validation that she needed. Because what she really wanted was the validation. It wasn't even about the affection, although she wanted that too. And so, we all have to look at our traumas and how it affects us. But not only just look at it, deal with it. Like, go through that bag. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. It's not easy. It doesn't feel good. Some stuff makes you downright embarrassed. But if you never unpack that bag, then you leave yourself open to injure other people. So if someone told you you're never going to be able to do something, and you go tell a child they'll never be able to do something, not only do you have your trauma to deal with, now you just added trauma into their bag. This is why seeking professional help is actually really important. Yes, I said it. Talking to a therapist, talking to a counselor, talking to a pastor who's going to be honest with you. And not just point out all the negative stuff or point out all the positive stuff, but objectively listen to what you gotta say. And objectively give you their advice about how to move forward. If we don't start taking advantage of those resources to help us out, to help us to unpackage our own baggage, hurting people hurt people. And we have to stop the cycle of pain somewhere. We have to stop allowing people, things, places to tell us that no, you can't go get those services. That's white people stuff. That's this, that's that. No, how about I need to get me fixed so I'll be able to react in the real world. That's really what it's about. It's about self-care. Or recognizing your triggers. Because once you recognize and you're aware of your triggers, even if you haven't started working on them yet, you can set yourself up for success by not adding to those triggers. And by not re-injuring someone else. So to the young woman who told my child she was too fat to be a ballerina, you should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. To the foster mom who has told her charges that they never amount to nothing, that they're going to be a crackhead just like their mama, you should be ashamed of yourself. To the parent in the household always tearing down your child's dreams, shame on you. And I mean shame on you. I want you to feel it, deal with it, and then go apologize to the person that you harmed. But you got to deal with it within yourself first. To the coaches out there and the teachers out there who tell their children, their students, that they're too dumb, or that they're not good enough, or they'll never be able to do it. Shame on you too. Because you have a great opportunity. Because here's what a good coach do. A good coach finds a person's 10 and help them to be great at that 10. That's what a good coach or a good teacher or a good youth leader does. Yes, it's good to have students who have natural talent. However, if you take somebody who's willing to learn and you train them up and you teach them the fundamentals, they can be just as good, if not better, than the ones with the natural talent. So yes, to all the dream killers out there, shame on you. But also, I realize that someone probably killed your dream. I realize that someone in your life probably told you you'd never be able to do it. So just as much as I'm saying shame on you, I'm also acknowledging your pain. I'm also recognizing that it didn't originate with you. But we have to do better, people. We have to do better. These generations under us need us to do better. Because guess what? We teach them how to operate. Did you know I learned how to gossip about people from watching the adults around me as a kid? Yep, I learned to gossip from watching the adults around me. The adults around me would talk about people behind their backs, and then in their face they would smile, and yeah, I grew up around those type of people. Now, that's not who I am. I'm sorry, I do not have a poker face. I do not have a game face. So if I don't like you, it's going to show on my face. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I wish I had a poker face. I wish I had a game face. But there is none. But these people, 1 minute they're smiling and cheering you on. The next minute they're hoping for your demise. To those people in the world, I realize somebody hurt you. That does not give you the right and the authority to go injure someone else. You owe that child, that person, or whatever an apology. Again, I realize that hurting people hurt people. I realize that. There is no way around hurting people hurt people. But people also make choices. Yes, people did stuff to me. But I have a choice what I do to someone else. So I'm not invalidating the bad stuff that has happened to people. It was dead wrong. And that person owes you an apology. And the truth of the matter is, you probably will never get it. 9 times out of 10, the people that harm us, especially the adults in our lives, will never apologize for the trauma they put in our bag. But guess what? That doesn't mean that we don't have to forgive them. Now, we don't have to be in relationship with them. Oh, you heard that? Yes. You can forgive someone and not be in relationship with them. You could wish someone well and not be in relationship with them. Because here's the thing, an abuser usually don't change. Especially once they've set in their mind that this is who they are, or they justify that they were justified in their actions. Whatever they told themselves. So sometimes, people, we may not get an apology. But it's still on us to forgive that person. You know why? It ain't even for them. It's for us. I heard someone say, unforgiveness is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. So if you think about it, if you really truly think about it, unforgiveness, it takes over your body. It's like a spirit. And I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not that religious anymore. I'm more spiritual than religious, but we'll go into that another time when we talk about religion and spirituality. I'm very sensitive to energies. When people with foul energies come into my space, it's just as loud as an alarm. And it's like, whoa, I need you to bring all that down. So when you have forgiveness on you, forgiveness weighs you down. It's like a weight. And only you have the power to let go of that weight. Yes, they wronged you. Yes, they owe you an apology. And guess what? You might not get it. But it's not on you to judge them. Because this is what I do know. That thing called karma, baby, it don't miss nothing. Karma is tied to universal law. Whether you call it karma, whether you call it sowing and reaping, whether you call it the golden rule, do unto others as you will have them do unto you, whatever you call it, that thing right there is absolute and it makes no mistakes. So here's the thing, your karma is yours, theirs is theirs. Your ability to forgive them dictates how hard your karma hits you. Yeah, I said it. Your ability to forgive others, your ability to understand that they're wronging you is on them, and they have to pay for that. But your actions will bring actions upon you if you act. So, case in point, everybody's president has blown up, right? Now, of course, he can't afford all the rich doctors and stuff to speed along his process, but he still got it. Okay? Now, I know there are folks who wished him dead. There are folks who laughed, thought it was fake, whatever. I mean, I'm somewhere in the middle. But here's the thing. It's not on us to determine to laugh at karma catching up with him. That's not on us. Yes, he's done a lot of people wrong. And yes, when karma finally hits his behind or his ass, guess what? It's gonna hit. And it's gonna hit big. But that don't mean we need to celebrate it. Because as you celebrating it, remember, someone's gonna celebrate your demise. Someone, see, that equal exchange. See, we talk about stuff. We talk about a whole lot of stuff. But that equal exchange, what you give comes back to you. There is always either a reward or a consequence. Every time we take the low road, we hasten our karma. Yes, I said it. Every time we take the low road, we hasten our karma. Because karma don't miss. Sometimes it comes real slow. Sometimes it comes real fast. But that's not on you to judge their karma. A lot of times we spend time worrying about other people. Right? But this person does, and but that person does. Guess what? You not them. You can't get away with what they get away with. That don't mean their karma not gonna catch it. That just means it ain't called them yet. Notice I said yet, because that's one thing again, like I said, karma don't miss. It don't miss. It is a perfect shot. 10 out of 10. So yes, we have to forgive. And let me tell you something about forgiveness. Forgiveness is letting go of the pain, so that injury or that scar can be healed. Imagine breaking a bone, and then you still holding part of the bone. The bone ain't gonna never fully heal if you're still holding part of it. Let it go so that you can heal. Again, this has been another Night Perspective. And my perspective is what we say affects our children, and that is unacceptable. We should never be dream killers for children. I don't care who you are. I don't care what happened to you. Your pain does not give you license to cause others pain. Deal with your issues, heal yourself, and then go give out your apologies. Because guess what? When karma comes for you, there is no ducking, there is no hiding. The Night Perspective is part of the Uniquely Night podcast. You can catch the Night Perspective every Tuesday on all streaming platforms. If you want to know more information, if you want to have a discussion about anything that's just been said, go ahead, hit up the website at www.uniquelynightpodcast.com. Let's have the conversation. Or on the YouTube link, go ahead and say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. Put it out there. And holler, and I'll holler back. All right. So, this has been the Nye Perspective for this week. I am Nye. I will see you next week with another amazing topic.